An internal memo has sent shockwaves through the Republican Party, revealing deep concern about their chances of retaking the Senate in the upcoming midterm elections. The memo, leaked to the press, paints a stark picture of the challenges facing GOP candidates across the country. It highlights a perfect storm of economic headwinds, questionable candidate quality, and a surprisingly energized Democratic base. The findings have injected a dose of anxiety into Republican strategists, who had hoped to capitalize on historical trends favoring the party out of power during midterm elections. The memo's release comes at a critical juncture in the 2024 election cycle. With control of the Senate hanging precariously in the balance, every race is crucial. The outcome will have profound implications for the Biden administration's agenda and the direction of the country. For Republicans, the memo serves as a wake-up call, highlighting the urgent need to address their vulnerabilities and refine their strategy. The internal memo identifies several key battleground states as major sources of concern for Republicans. Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona, all with tight races and recent Democratic victories, top the list. In each of these states, Democratic challengers are outperforming expectations, buoyed by a combination of strong fundraising, effective messaging, and perceived weaknesses among their Republican opponents. Pennsylvania, a state with a long history of close elections, is shaping up to be a nail-biter. The race between the Democratic incumbent and the Republican challenger is particularly worrisome for the GOP, as it exemplifies the challenges they face nationwide. The memo suggests that the Republican candidate is struggling to connect with moderate voters, a crucial demographic in this swing state. The specter of inflation looms large over the Republican Party's electoral prospects. The internal memo acknowledges that rising prices are a major concern for voters and a significant drag on Republican candidates. While the GOP has traditionally enjoyed an advantage on economic issues, the current inflationary environment has upended that dynamic, giving Democrats an unexpected opening. The memo reveals that voters are feeling the pinch of higher costs on everyday goods and services, fueling a sense of economic anxiety. This anxiety has translated into declining confidence in the Republican Party's ability to manage the economy. The memo warns that unless Republicans can effectively address voters' economic concerns, they risk losing ground on an issue that has long been a cornerstone of their support. Section 4, a question of quality candidate struggles. Add to Republican woes. Adding to their woes, the internal memo raises concerns about the quality of some Republican candidates. The memo suggests that several GOP nominees in key races are struggling to gain traction with voters, hampered by a combination of extreme views, lack of experience, and questionable campaign strategies. This perceived lack of quality candidates is particularly problematic for Republicans in swing states and districts. The memo warns that these candidates are struggling to appeal to moderate and independent voters, who are often decisive in close elections. It suggests that these voters are put off by the GOP's embrace of hardline positions and its perceived intolerance for dissenting views. Section 5, Democrats see an opening cautious optimism amidst familiar headwinds. While the internal Republican memo paints a bleak picture for the GOP, Democrats are approaching the midterms with cautious optimism. The memo's findings, coupled with recent polling data, suggest that Democrats are in a stronger position than many had anticipated. This is due in part to President Biden's improving approval ratings, a renewed focus on issues such as abortion rights and gun control, and a perceived enthusiasm advantage among their base. However, Democrats are also aware of the historical headwinds they face. Midterm elections are typically challenging for the party in power, and the Biden administration continues to grapple with high inflation and concerns about the economy. These factors could dampen enthusiasm among Democratic voters and make it more difficult for the party to maintain its slim majorities in Congress. Section 6. November's high-stakes control of the Senate hangs in the balance. As the calendar flips to October, the political world is holding its breath, bracing for a midterm election that could reshape the balance of power in Washington. The internal Republican memo serves as a stark reminder of the stakes involved and the challenges facing both parties. For Republicans, the memo is a wake-up call, highlighting the urgent need to address their vulnerabilities and capitalize on their strengths. For Democrats, it is a glimmer of hope, but also a reminder that they cannot afford to be complacent. One thing is certain: the battle for control of the Senate will be fierce, unpredictable, and ultimately decided by the American people.